Hello everyone and welcome to day 4 of our challenge. This is a 7-day challenge where we're going through each one of the chakras, and we've made it through the base lower 3 chakras. The base lower 3 chakras, the first, the second, and the third, are where the majority of Americans get stuck. They just stay in those lower 3 chakras of survival, safety, fear, and assertion of their will or of their self. And so this is also why it's kind of like keeping up with the Joneses is operating from those lower 3 chakras, okay? So if you're noticing a lot of the people surrounding you are like that, that's why. Hi, Shane, how are you? So I was just talking about the base 3 chakras and how the majority of Americans, although it's changing, stay stuck in those lower base 3 chakras. Now are working on them. Not necessarily that they're in there and like that they're mastered them, but they're working on them. A lot of people get stuck in survival, and we know that politically, like I was just recently listening to a thing about how the irony of being American and thinking that we're so free, but we are the most heavily programmed society with our consumerism and just getting stuck, keeping up with the Joneses and survival. Will are they coming for, this, basic need that I have. And so it's really interesting. Like if you look at our education system and then you look at other industrialized countries or, different things like that. Sorry, I'm a little tired this morning. Our education system literally keeps kids in survival mode, and it also keeps teachers in survival mode, right? So it's like they barely have what they need to do the education that they need to do. And then also the education system is based on the military and factory workers and that kind of thing. Okay, moving on. So we know that these base 3 chakras are important, and we know that in our society, a lot of people get stuck there. The other interesting thing to note is beings of light, children that are born that have a really traumatic childhood or have things happen to them when they're a kid, they're so connected to the light that it's like a magnet that they just kind of go up and into the higher chakras. So they develop their 6th chakra and they develop their 7th chakra before their base chakras are developed. And when this happens, we end up being beings that aren't fully in the body and aren't grounded to the earth. And so a lot of people that I work with have this coming up, and that we need to go back down and do the base work of they're already highly developed psychically or intuitively or energetically, but we need to go in and do that base work to ground into the body, because individuals that aren't grounded into the body, right? Sicknesses come up, leakages of energy. We talked about like the 2nd chakra, and then also in the 4th chakra we're going to talk about today, where if you're not aware of your own body, then you're overgiving, and that's also where the boundary thing comes up and where you can deplete yourself without even knowing that you're doing it. So we're going to talk about the 4th chakra, and the 4th chakra it actually translates to unstruck, and I love this. And actually, before I had my 3rd baby, I was really interested in the 4th chakra and like learning about it, and just like thinking about this idea of the unstruck heart and how none of us really have that unstruck heart. And that's not why it's named that. It's not named that because you should have an unstruck heart. It's named that because when we process our emotions and when we feel the feelings, we are introduced back into the innocence of having an unstruck heart, and how beautiful that is. I was just I'm feeling a lot like today and yesterday, and one of my friend's mother is passing away, and she was like, how do you survive this? Like, how do you get through this? And, I was just saying that you feel the feelings, and that's like the lamest thing to say, but it's just the absolute truth. And we know that the coolest humans are the ones that let themselves feel the feelings and really go into it. And it's really difficult to do. And I know that I struggle. I am like triple fire. I struggle with like really sitting with the emotions, really sitting with myself. But the only way out is through, right? And you can't go under it. You can't go over it. You got to go through it. And with the 4th chakra, things that keep us stuck or like not being able to access the power of the 4th chakra is betrayal, grief, guilt, remorse, and feelings of unworthiness, okay? And this is highly linked to the mother, so our mother connection, but also how we mother. It's also for women linked to the breast. For both men and women, it's linked to the lungs, how we are able to receive the energy from around us, how we're able to receive the energy from the trees. And I think of the fourth chakra, you know, it's represented by the green color. And I think of this like just our reciprocity, the back and forth that we have for the nature around us, and also how we give back and how we receive. So if we're unable to receive, or if we're unable to give, it's going to cause, you know, a stickiness in this area. And so we have to trust that there's plenty to go around. And wounds here associated with the mother, or not being received by the mother at a young age, or, you know, issues or wounds around being breastfed as a baby, and then also self-love for our own breasts, self-love for our own lungs, self-love for our own heart. And this isn't just for women. I know there's some men on here too, so I don't want to be like talking too much about that, but there's definitely the energy of acceptance and self-love here, right? So with the fourth chakra, the meditation is a little bit longer today. It's like a 23-minute meditation, so you're going to want to take some time and space to do that. I also think of sound healing with the fourth chakra, even though the next chakra we'll talk about with the fifth chakra is connected to sound. I really believe that the most healing can come in the heart chakra through sound healing. So if you've ever had sound healing, I know Shane, I think you're still on here. I know that you have had experiences with sound healing, and I certainly have, and it goes to places where words cannot reach, and it's something to really look into for healing. And even chanting the connection between the fifth and the fourth chakra is really incredible. And so anything like that can be really helpful. Also, heart opening positions, so camel pose, or even though it sounds to be not a heart opener, just like Utkatasana, so reaching down to your toes, you know, any of those heart opening positions, so fish pose, I'll send a couple of them in the email, can really be helpful. And the thing that I find most helpful is noticing where you have the catch. So when you're doing a heart opening, when you're listening to sound healing, when something like that's happening, where you notice the catch, where do you notice the sticky point, and then just sending your breath and sending your love to that area. And there's so much healing that's possible for us when we believe that it's possible. And when we think of ourselves as just being stuck, or thinking of ourselves as having this issue or this thing that we're still working through, it's like it doesn't serve us. So just remembering that healing is possible in every moment. One thing that I noticed when I did a heart chakra meditation, a different one actually than the one I posted, but I was doing this heart chakra meditation, and the thing that I noticed was like my heart was like this vine that was like reaching out and wanting to like hold and comfort others. And at the same time, like I wasn't extending those vines back at myself. And so that was the work, was just to like, just like cradle myself in this green loving energy. So just remembering, you know, it doesn't mean that you're advanced if you can have tons of compassion for other people if you can't hold that same compassion for yourself. And another thing that I think is interesting is the whole loving kindness meditation. I've been doing loving kindness meditation, and I was listening to Tim Ferriss talk about it. It was funny because a couple of friends of mine like recently have talked about like just naturally doing this. And then I was listening to Tim Ferriss, and he was saying how he had a hard time doing that loving kindness meditation. So you're supposed to do it for others, but then turn it back towards yourself as well, which I think is beautiful, and I think is a great thing. And he was talking about how a lot of Westerners have a hard time with this. So I think it's also something to look at. Okay, this is kind of a long video, so I just want to tell you that the email is going out. If you're not getting my emails, please let me know, and if you want to be getting them. But there's the heart meditation on there. It's through SoundCloud, so you can also find it there under my name, under Sparkle and Shine Guidance. And there's a worksheet. So I'd love to hear how the meditation works for you. And if you want to be entered into the giveaway to receive an intuitive healing session with me, you just need to participate in our group, which everybody is doing great at. And then also tag Sparkle and Shine Guidance in a post on Instagram or Facebook. And for the week, it's 2 posts to be entered into the giveaway. And we're going till Saturday, and we'll end with the 7th chakra. And I hope you guys have been enjoying this, and I look forward to hearing how it works for you. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, Shane.